media is sponsored by Born to Ride Motorcycle Magazine. Check out borntoride.com. Alright guys, the time has come to start pulling off all the fuel injection. So, first thing we're going to do, start just undoing all the screws, hold all the wiring, kind of unclip everything, get everything out of the way, unbolt the ECU, and then we'll get down to the fuel system, start pulling all that off, and then we're going to go back to a regular fuel pump down here. So we just got to tear all of that out of the way, which really isn't too much. Get the Terminator off, and then we're going to put a regular 4-barrel on it. Once we get the fuel system hooked up, fire it up, make sure it'll run on just a regular 4-barrel. Main thing we want to run the 4-barrel for is just to make sure everything runs, and then we're going to go straight from the 4-barrel intake that's already carbureted at that point to the 8-stack that we've got from Pierce manifolds and from empi supplying us with the carburetors. So again, we want to thank them for that, because that is awesome that we've got both of those going together on this thing. It's going to be really killer. So but we're going to start pulling all this off there, and this will be one video of just tearing it down and getting that part ready, and then we'll do a whole nother video on going from essentially a 4-barrel to the 8-stack. So pretty sweet. All right, guys, we got a little bit more done. Got a few more things off. Gas monkey stickers gone. Got a carburetor sitting up here. Just to try it with a 4-barrel, just kind of switch everything back over to carbureted. Right now we're trying to pull off this fuel pump block off plate. And then we've got some new parts. We got from our kit of all those bolts, stainless bolts for it. Got an adapter plate. So I've got this linked already. This will be added. And then this is the fuel pump that we got. And we had a 72 C10, C20 rather. Don't know if you remembered or not. Ended up having to change the fuel pump on it. And I remembered that it had its own return line built in. So I ordered one for a 72 C20. And now we got the same one. So this is our inlet. This is our return. And then that is up to the actual carburetors. So we'll have to get a fitting for that to switch it over to rubber. But should be good. So, and then we've also got a fuel pump push rod, and this is a nicer one. This is an ARP one, and best part is it's got the hardened ends on there. So if you don't have hardened ends, it can mushroom the tip of it, and then you never get it out. So it's better to have a good fuel pump push rod, depending on what cam you have, stuff like that. This thing's got a pretty radical cam in it that we don't know much about, but we just know it's lumpy. Curious to see what it's going to sound like with the IDFs on here. We get all that done. So this is really coming together. And man, that clean firewall is just looking so much better. So get that pulled off and see what we got. All right, guys. So I've got the push rod up in there, and we bumped the motor, and it does at least have a lobe there, and got it all the way back up inside, and then just kind of bumped it through her there. It's actually holding it for us perfect in there. So, which is nice, because normally they're falling out on a 350 because they're slanted. So now we're going to get the fuel pump going on, and then the adapter plate deal, and then our bolts, get everything on there. All right, guys, there's our fuel pump. It's all on there. A little more silver and chrome and stainless. And it is kind of weird with the fuel lines being turned all this way. But on that truck, if I remember, they're up the frame rail, like looped over from way over here. So it'll be fine. I mean, we'll just run them up and loop them with the hose, but that's gonna work. We did turn it over again. It's pumping and sucking and doing what it's supposed to do. So that should be good. The next thing is just getting some fuel up to that carburetor and finishing up some lines here. All right, guys, so we went in and threw an Edelbrock carburetor back on there. We had a Holley on there. Threw this Edelbrock on there just to have one main fuel line going in We're bottle feeding it because we haven't got our lines finished up for the pump yet. But we're just going to fire it up, make sure it'll run back as a carbureted engine. I mean, it should. There's no reason why it shouldn't, but we've got it jumped out on the coil here. Make sure it'll fire without the electronic ignition. So we're hoping this is going to just go blah and fire up. So we'll see. Go ahead. Hey, hit. We're going to get a little more fuel from the squirters here. All right, go ahead. Well, it runs. It's carbureted again. No more fuel injection. Wait. Well, sucked her dry, but it worked. That's it, guys. Now, we know it runs with carburetors. It's time to throw on the 8 stack. So, next video we'll be working on that.